Love can be powerful. Love can be healing. But sometimes love can be fatal. In 2005, 55-year-old Raymond Merrill thought he had finally found his soulmate, a kind, successful man from San Bruno, California. Raymond had lived a full life, but was still searching for lasting love. He believed he had found it in a Brazilian woman named Regina Filamina Rasheed. But what started as romance quickly spiraled into obsession, betrayal, and one of the most chilling cases of love turned deadly. This is the haunting story of how a dream of companionship became a nightmare of greed, deceit, and murder. Raymond Merrill was no stranger to hard work. Born in the 1950s, he grew up with a love for music and craftsmanship. In his younger years, he had been a musician, playing guitar and singing in local bands. Later, he transitioned into carpentry and real estate, flipping homes and making a comfortable living. By his mid-50s, Raymond had achieved a level of success many would envy. He lived in the quiet Bay Area community of San Bruno, drove a nice car, and enjoyed life's pleasures. But there was something missing. Raymond was single, divorced, and longing for companionship. Friends and family described him as generous, caring, and deeply romantic. He had always been drawn to Latin American culture, and when traditional dating wasn't working out, he turned to the internet. That's when he met Regina Filamina Rasheed, a 40-year-old woman from São José dos Campos, Brazil. Regina was stunning, dark hair, confident smile, and an alluring charm. To Raymond, she seemed like everything he had been waiting for. Their online conversations grew intense quickly. Emails and phone calls turned into promises of love. And by November 2005, Raymond was so convinced of their connection that he booked a trip to Brazil to meet her in person. When Raymond arrived in São José dos Campos, the romance blossomed. Regina welcomed him with warmth and affection. For weeks, they spent time together, laughing, dining, and building what Raymond thought was a future. But Regina had expensive tastes. Soon after his arrival, she began hinting at financial problems. Wanting to impress and help her, Raymond sent her $10,000 to open a cosmetic clinic. He also covered tuition for her teenage daughter. Back home in the U.S., he began to notice unusual charges on his credit cards, thousands of dollars spent in Brazil. But when Regina explained them away, Raymond brushed off his concerns. In January 2006, Raymond returned to Brazil. But this trip felt different. He avoided staying at Regina's home, telling friends later that he felt uncomfortable there. The cracks in their romance grew deeper when Raymond purchased her a brand new SUV, valued at around $20,000. Instead of gratitude, Regina mocked him. She wanted a $50,000 luxury car. To her, Raymond wasn't a partner. He was a bank account. Humiliated, Raymond returned to San Bruno, convinced the relationship was over. But Regina wasn't done with him. In the weeks that followed, Raymond received messages, not from Regina, but from her teenage daughter. She insisted that Regina still wanted to marry him. In fact, she was planning a wedding for his upcoming 56th birthday on March 27, 2006. All Regina needed was a little money, $600 to get the preparation started. Against his better judgment, Raymond sent the money. And on March 21, 2006, he boarded a plane for Brazil once again. This time, he carried a $5,000 engagement ring in his luggage, ready to propose and begin his new life. But this time he would never return. Raymond's email stopped. His phone went silent. He ignored urgent messages, even news that his father had fallen gravely ill. When his father passed in early May, Raymond didn't return for the funeral. For his family, that was the final sign that something was terribly wrong. On May 8, 2006, Raymond's sister officially reported him missing. When police questioned Regina, she insisted Raymond had left in early April to visit a friend in another city. But when investigators tracked down the man, he denied ever seeing Raymond. Meanwhile, Raymond's bank accounts were being drained. More than $132,000 vanished through a series of withdrawals. Emails began arriving at the bank, supposedly from Raymond himself, written in broken English. They claimed he was remaking his life in Brazil and demanded his accounts remain open. But investigators immediately noticed something odd. Raymond was a native English speaker, well-educated and articulate. These emails were clumsy, with basic errors he would never make. The police grew certain. Raymond Merrill hadn't simply walked away. Something far more sinister had happened. Still, there was no body, no crime scene, and no weapon. Without proof, the case seemed destined to remain unsolved. Then came a twist of fate. On June 2nd, 2006, Regina Rasheed and an accomplice attempted to rob a black market currency dealer. The dealer escaped, but in the chaos, Regina dropped her purse. Inside, police found one of Raymond Merrill's bank cards. When they searched her home, the evidence grew damning. They discovered luxury furniture, new appliances, and a shiny new car her teenage daughter had been driving. Investigators also found prescriptions for sedatives, Rohypnol and Rivotril, acquired using fake names. The puzzle was coming together. Regina had drugged Raymond, and then she had gotten rid of him. Later that year, police arrested a man named Evander Rivero. Under questioning, Rivero confessed to helping dispose of Raymond's body. According to his testimony, on April 1st, 2006, Raymond was already dead when he arrived at Regina's home. Together, they moved his body into a rented car, strapping him into the passenger seat to make it look like he was simply asleep. They drove out of the city to a deserted dirt road. There, they doused Raymond's body with diesel fuel and set on fire. The next day, locals discovered a charred body. At the time, it went unidentified, but with DNA and dental records, investigators later confirmed it was Raymond Merrill. The man who had come to Brazil looking for love had instead been burned and discarded like garbage. For years, the case dragged on. Regina Rasheed denied involvement, insisting Raymond had abandoned her, but the evidence was undeniable. In 2007, she was convicted of robbery and continued to face mounting charges. It wasn't until November 2021, 15 years after Raymond's murder, that Regina finally won a trial for homicide. She was convicted and sentenced to 30 years in prison. Her accomplice, Evander Rivero, received just 3 years for concealing a corpse. Another alleged accomplice was acquitted. In 2022, a Brazilian court reduced Regina's sentence to 20 years. Instead of turning herself in, she fled, becoming a fugitive. For over a year, she evaded capture. Then, in August 2023, authorities tracked her down. Regina Rasheed was finally arrested and returned to prison. But with Brazil's lenient sentencing laws, she could be eligible for release in just a few years. Raymond Merrill's murder is more than just a love story gone wrong. It's a chilling reminder of how desperation and blind trust can be manipulated into something deadly. Raymond believed he found happiness, but instead, he walked into a trap carefully laid by a woman driven by greed. And even though Regina's behind bars today, the scars she left, the grief of Raymond's family, the loss of a kind and generous man, will never fully heal. Sometimes, the most dangerous mysteries aren't committed by strangers in the dark, but by the very people we let into our hearts. The chilling story of the murder of Raymond Merrill. If you found this case as haunting as I did, make sure to subscribe, and share. And remember, behind every unsolved mystery is a story that deserves to be told.